It seems like 90% of the issues I'm solving these days are based around this tiny home that I live in. I don't live in a literal tiny home, it's just a very small house. And small houses are great. I mean, they're easier to keep clean, they're cheaper to furnish, easier to maintain, but it does have its cons in things like storage. You can see I'm working in a very small workshop. And things like the doors hitting each other. I mean, come on, this is not a typical issue that you'd have in a normal sized house. This door I'm building, if you haven't picked up on it yet, is what they call a magic door. At least that's the name brand of this. I did not buy the name brand because it was like 5 times the price of what I paid, but this is a floating barn door system. I think I said that wrong because technically all barn doors are floating, but the hardware is invisible for this door. And I'm doing something absolutely crazy that is not allowed on YouTube, at least for woodworkers, and that is I'm building the door out of red oak. The price of white oak has just gotten out of hand, and it is what I typically build things out of. But you'll see I have a cool little trick to make this look a lot better. Back to the subject of tiny houses, my wife and I had a funny conversation the other day. She said, I don't necessarily want a bigger house. I just want a bigger kitchen, maybe a bigger living room. A bigger bedroom would be nice. And I just looked at her and said, so a bigger house. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but it's just making the most of the situation that you're in. As you saw there, this door is actually soft closed, which makes all the difference. If you have kids, you know they have a tendency to slam things, especially a 2-year-old. The door is finally starting to come together, and this probably isn't the best way to attach the center panel, but I didn't really have a plan going into this. I spent a billion years sanding, and this is the cool part of how to turn red oak into white oak. I have a full video on explaining this. Obviously, I'm not actually changing the chemistry of it, but it helps. The instruction manual to install this hardware was absolutely atrocious. So instead, what I did was just hold the door in place and I marked the top of it, and somehow I got lucky. At the end of the day, this door came out awesome, and we love the fact that there's no bulky hardware. If you would like more details, check out my other video.